tattooed, bearded wrestling coach that everybody thinks has his stuff together. No, man. I've spent days in bed. It's not good. And for people to continue to perpetuate this stigma by when someone comes to them to try to talk to them about what's going on and they say, man up, suck it up, that doesn't help. And I can tell you, it hurts. It makes it worse. It forces people into isolation. Because if they're trusting you with their feelings, and then that's your response, that's not gonna help anybody. Robbie. I'm a 39-year-old dad, a wrestling coach, wrestler. I've been in sales for 17 years. I'm an Air Force veteran. And I'm in recovery from my mental illnesses. My first memory of mental illness really impacting me is when I tried to hang myself at 13. Why didn't I talk to my mom? Why didn't I talk to my brother or my friends or my coach? I was always told as a kid, suicide is something that you don't do. It's a crime in some states. That's a horrible message to give anybody. To somebody that's impacted by depression and not knowing what that is at 12 or 13, who do I go talk to? I didn't have many friends, but at 13, that's not something I felt like I could talk about. You know, I recently was hospitalized, and that's when I got diagnosed with PTSD. And I want to make it clear that there are many different types of PTSD. And as a veteran, my PTSD has zero to do with my military time. My PTSD has to do with my childhood. When I originally got treatment, I was 21 years old. I was in the Air Force, and I was stationed at Anchorage Air Force Base, Alaska. Or Elmendorf Air Force Base, Alaska, in Anchorage. At that point, I wanted to end my life. I grabbed the phone and I called. And I called, at that time, the Air Force Base. They had a specific number. And then I handed the phone to my roommate. They brought me in, I went into a room, and the next thing I remember is I'm at a different hospital in a psych ward. And about 3 weeks after that, I took a knife to my wrist. And at that point, I got sent home. And this is how they sent me home. 90 days worth of Zoloft. That's it. That's the aftercare that I got. So all these thoughts, all these feelings, and all the help I thought I needed and I reached out for, I didn't get. And because of that, the next 16, 17, 18 years of my life, there have been a lot of things that possibly could have been prevented, or just me understanding what's going on could have helped me through so much. And honestly, it took multiple suicides of friends for me to get the help that I finally got this past year. I went into an inpatient program for 5 days. I've had 3 outpatient programs that I belong to that have been very intensive. I see my therapist 2 to 3 times a week. I talk to her almost daily now. I journal a lot. It helps me get some of the thoughts out of my head and at least push pause for a little bit. They won't always just leave, but I get to get a little bit of moment of clarity. Mindfulness is something that I just started practicing, and in the 2 weeks that I've been doing it, I'm seeing some great things. The stigma, the biggest part for me is being a man with mental illness. That does not take away or discount anybody else that has a mental illness. But as men, we have a harder time talking about it, and unfortunately, we have the most mortality rate when it comes to suicide. Connecting with others in the mental health community is extremely helpful for me. It's therapeutic for me because I get to share my story, which is something that we are now learning, and when I say we, the mental health community is learning, is very impactful. What we have found is the real life experience and showing people the path of hope and happiness, and you will have better days, coming from someone that has lived it can be more impactful than their doctor saying that or their therapist saying that. So taking a really tough life lesson and turning it into something that I hope will help the future. I don't see mental illnesses being cured in my lifetime. I see a lot of them potentially being cured in my children's lifetime. And by sharing my story and telling people the feelings I have, it's not just, hey, I'm Robbie, here's what happens inside of me. It's, hey, I'm Robbie, these things that happen inside of you happen inside of me too. Let's talk about it. It's okay. Let's share. You're not alone, because that's what isolates so many people is they feel their feelings and their thoughts. They're the only ones that's having it. I belong to a website called Mondays with Us, And what that is it's a website where we talk about our stories, the things that we've gone through, events that we went to or did or going to be going to. My greatest wish for the future, for my kids, for our kids, for their kids, is that this conversation happens at the lunch table. This conversation happens at the dinner table, on the bus, at a sporting practice, where people can talk about their feelings without any repercussions that could negatively impact them.